Grief is the response to a loss, usually the loss of someone or some living thing that has died, from which a special bond or love had formed. The response to grief is very unique to each one of us and certainly can go in many directions, some very rewarding and some catastrophic. The 5 stages of grief model was introduced by Swiss-American psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in her 1969 book, On Death and Dying. The 5 stages, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, are a part of the framework that makes up our learning to live with the ones we lose. These tools can help guide us through this often turbulent process. I don't believe there is a correct order, and I don't believe all 5 apply. For example, I have never been depressed. I have depressive moments, but not depression. I tried depression a few times, and I didn't like it, so I quit. That is kind of how I'm wired. This isn't meant to be disparaging to the millions of people who struggle daily with the very real issues with depression. However, to me, and only me, it is an unfulfilling illusion, and I don't allow it into my life. In the past 4.5 years, I have been presented with the opportunity to fully understand and test these stages of grief and to develop strategies to overcome them. As many of you know, death has entered my life recently and has taken 2 people I love dearly. Death is coming for all of us eventually. Yet when it rips our loved ones from us so soon, the brutal reality often seems so utterly unreal. I am often asked how I could have survived such unimaginable loss and trauma that has happened to me. Losing a son at the age of 23 to a heroin overdose, and now my beautiful wife of 21 years, doesn't seem fair. What is fair? Life certainly isn't fair, so why do we expect it to be? Isn't this more our inability to deal with the inevitability of death? I think so. We don't always die in the right order, and this dynamic makes the grief process substantially more confusing and challenging. I am by no means an expert on grief in any sense of the word. Do I have a tremendous amount of personal, real-life experiences that have shaped my reactions to grief? Yes, that I do possess. I know one thing for sure. I may not know the correct ways to grieve for you, but I certainly know, without a doubt, the wrong ways. The wrong ways are drinking, drugs, over-medication, poor diet, lying or deceit, toxic relationships, poor sleep, lack of exercise, too much reflection on the past, anger, blame. Let me finish with some thoughts on something not yet discussed: our outside reliance on others to cope. I am not referring to getting help from other people or support groups, as I do believe they are essential for growth from trauma or grief. Connectivity with other humans is a key and so important for our ability to thrive after grief. Yet somewhere along my path, I developed an unwillingness to request help or blame someone from the heavens for what has happened to me. I am agnostic with the belief in gods, yet I remain spiritual by my own definition. Do they exist? I have no clear idea, as I have never experienced anything to lead me to commit to any dogma. It would be very easy at this point in my life to inject a celestial spiritual entity to guide me through all this chaos. As in Pascal's wager, what do I have to lose? Perhaps this is so, yet I don't feel I am willing to make any sort of bet with my life at this point. Remember, I was a compulsive gambler, so I don't bet anymore. That was a joke. I just haven't found the need, nor do I find the time or desire to blame anyone or anything for what has happened. I know why they died, and I'm certain I know how to absorb their story into my life. Self-reliance has been a beacon my whole life, and I see no reason to change. With this dependence on me and only me, I was forced to deal with stuff internally and quickly as I needed to focus on living in the moment. I am not angry, mad, or upset at anyone or anything. I have no hate in my heart. Meditation has helped me in this area. I heard someone once say the greatest golfers and the most happy people in the world have one thing in common. To be successful, they both have to have a short memory. Tee it up again, right? So true. We spend so much time playing what if or I wish games, and they become counterproductive for growth. Memories and experiences actually have the potential to hold us back, especially in times of grief. Does being agnostic mean I can't live a healthy, productive, loving, and compassionate existence in the midst of such horrendous and untimely deaths in my life? I can, and I will. I am living proof of this. Find whatever you need or require to survive and thrive. If believing in a higher power helps you, then you are correct. Who am I to judge? The reason I even bring this up is to show you how I simplify my thinking with the reality of life and death. It isn't that complicated, to be honest. We live and we die. What happens between these two events is mostly up to us. How do you grieve? Live undeterred.